What's funny is I'm usually talking to you guys, and I'm not really talking to the camera. So I guess when people watch it, they're like, Coach really doesn't make eye contact, and he doesn't or whatever. I mean, I'm so used to just talking to you guys, I don't even think about the camera, but I'll talk to the camera. We had fun today. The old Ramsey day. You're always trying to find a way to trick them. Always trying to find a way to catch them on a day that they just won't believe that it was going to happen. And so anyway, I don't know if you all talked to any of the players. A lot of them will probably claim they knew, but most of them I don't think knew for sure. But did they have clues? Did you ask them, or did they?
They told me. You showed a video and then stopped it midway through.
Christian,
you can go ahead and
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Christian said that this morning they started telling the freshmen, "Oh yeah, Coach Richt's going to take us today," and the freshmen started believing it, and it just turned out to be the day that happened.
Yeah, they do. I heard they've been tweeting every day for like the last 2 weeks that today's the day we're going to Ramsey. So it's like a broken clock. It's going to be right twice a day. But anyway, we had fun. It was a good day.
Why do you think this is a good idea to break up, I guess, the monotony of camp just to have an event like this? Why do you do it?
It is, and you know, there might have been a better day to do it somewhere along the way. But you got to try to, again, there's got to be that element of surprise and element of trying to catch them off guard. Think of a way that you could get the emotion of it. You know, if you do it, you got to do it on a day where they're missing practice. You know, you got to do it on a day where they're missing like today was scheduled to be a 20-period, physical fundamental day, and those are the days that you know, if they get out of a day like that, they're excited. But so you want them to really feel like they're getting something out of this thing, and so I think we got it pretty good. They had fun.
It was kind of fun to see Cornelius get up there and finally kind of overcome that.
Yeah, and then just about everybody jumps off the 10-meter. That's kind of the big highlight of it. I guess it's about 35 feet up, and we try to get every single freshman to do it, and I'll always threaten them. If they don't do it, I'm going to make them run in the morning, stuff like that. Most of them, believe me, they jump. And we had, I guess, John, who's the big, Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, because we recruited Jonathan Atkins too. I get confused with them. But Jonathan Taylor, he doesn't know how to swim. I mean, he cannot swim, but he put on a life jacket and jumped. And then, so he jumped off the 10-meter before he learned how to swim. And when he came up, he just started kind of moving his arms around, but he wasn't moving. He was just kind of just sitting in the same spot. So about 4 guys had to swim out there and drag him in, which was good. And somebody else couldn't swim. They had to drag him in. I forgot who the other guy was. But Cornelius Washington somehow, I don't know if it was because of an injury or he just somehow slipped through the cracks 4 years ago or whatever it was, never did jump. So every year he's never jumped off the top. So on his own, I didn't even realize, but on his own he went and got a life jacket on and went up. And he wanted to make sure he had no regrets leaving Georgia and not jumping off the 10-meter. So he jumped today, which was good. And we thought Kwame had never jumped before. So we kind of got Kwame to go, and as it turned out, he told me he had already done it before. We didn't realize that he had done it. We thought he was doing it for the first time. And they thought Jarvis had never done it, but he did it last year, but he did it again. Then Brad Hutcherson, who our players call Moby, who's our director of football ops, he jumped for the first time. So we had a few first-time jumpers.
The thing that always seems to get the publicity is your back dive or back flip or whatever. Right. Feel a certain now pressure that you've got to deliver every year.
Yeah, I do. And the older you get, the higher it gets, and I know if I land wrong, something's gonna get hurt real bad. And I see these guys land awkwardly, and I'm like, if that happened to me, I'd have dislocated my shoulder or something like that. But thankfully, I hit it pretty good again, and it's one more year. That's good.
Just to be clear, do you make up the practice that you missed? I mean, do you get a chance to have your full complement even still?
We could, but we're not going to. We're not going to. I don't know if anybody gets all 29 in. And usually there's a weather day or something. Of course, some people have indoor facilities, but we'll end up with 28.
So for the record, you call yours a back flip or a back dive?
A what?
Is yours a back flip or a back dive?
It's a flip because you land on your feet. It's a back dive if you land head first, hands first. So it is a back flip. It's a full rotation and you land on your feet.
Is this to you like team building, or is it just
It's
let
team.
off some steam?
Oh, it's team building. It's fun. It's making memories, and you're trying to do it, on a day that, that they know it's going to be a tough day, and here we go again. It would have been. It would have been like the 23rd practice. I don't even know how many it would have been, but it was up there pretty high. And never been a break for weather or anything, and they've done so well all along that it was just a good day to do it. Anything else?
As far as the football question,
Yeah.
I know you talked recently about Merritt Hawley's going to start the first game coming up. I mean, when he first got here, I guess it's been 2 years now. Did you foresee him making this, I guess, transformation, if you want to call it, to get to the point he's at right now?
I didn't know who he was till the spring.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was till he started blocking people. Then you learn their names, Because when you get your walk-ons, especially a lot of walk-ons that come in when school starts, immediately they're in gear, and they have their helmets on, of course, and they've got a jersey number that changes every week. So sometimes it's hard to get to know your walk-ons in the very beginning. And some of them you've done through the recruiting process. And I say I didn't know. I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't notice him as a football player, as a Georgia Bulldog football player, until I saw him start blocking people in the spring, and he got my attention pretty quick.
Mark, as you go into game week, how many positions are still out there where you're still not totally sure who's going to be your starter?
As far as starting lineup, I think we know who's starting in every position. Some of that on defense just depends on what person over jumps out first. But I'm pretty sure. Now the kicking, I wouldn't say that's etched in stone, and I wouldn't say even the return men. The names we've been talking about are the guys that are going to be doing it, but to say who's going to get the first one, I wouldn't say we know that 100%. We have a good idea. I talked with the kicking coaches today about it. I doubt anything would change between now and then. We got a good idea, but I guess what I'm saying on that one is when we get into this first couple games, we may want to see more than one guy. That makes sense. Only one guy can go first, but there's a couple positions, really both the punt and kick return. There's 2 or 3 guys, in one position 2, and another position 3 guys that I'd really like to see, maybe all of them in a game, just to see how it goes. So I don't really know if whoever starts in the first game, whether he'll solidify that, or if another guy gets a chance, maybe move into the starting lineup there.
But kicker and punter, do you know?
Kick and punt return.
Right, I'm asking about kicking and
The kicker and punter. I'd say, again, the freshmen are definitely, and they're still in the lead, but I like what Adam Erickson's been doing as a punter. I like what Linda's been doing as a kicker. And so, they're still competing. And I don't know if anybody can separate themselves until they start doing it in a ball game. Where, if you get Walsh a year after he started and Butler, a year or 2, in his career, there's no more competition with those guys. These young guys, they're still competing.
to give the other guys and Emily Erickson some chances in the game?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
What about the actual coverage units? Do you have a sense of whether you guys might be better there? Or?
I hope so. I hope so. We'll just have to see. Some of the guys are the same guys that should be a year better. There's a few other guys that are, in there, for the first time. We just got to wait and see. I mean, it's hard. The hardest thing to simulate in preseason is the special teams, scout teams. It's just so hard because they just don't run as fast as guys do in the game. As a matter of fact, if you took our special team, our scout teamers on special teams, and then put them in the game day, they're going to go faster than they go in practice. And you just can't hardly get them to go fast enough. You can't simulate a full speed kickoff return, punt, return, block. It's so hard to simulate because in the game everything just happens faster. Even operation times tend to go. But you can clock your punter all day long, and you might be a little concerned about the operation time. But almost always his operation time speeds up in the game, as does the rushers too. So it's until we play a couple games, I'm not sure what we got. But I think we're going to do well. But I really got to see it to feel better about it.
What's the most important way Ken Malcolm has grown, has improved from this point last year?
Well, I'd say one of the big things is like he just would refuse not to miss a practice, not to miss a rep in practice. Because when you play tailback, you do get stung, you get hit, and you could easily kind of take yourself out for 5-10 minutes or something if something got hit. And I mean, he just was like, he's determined no matter what happened, he's going back in the huddle and go again unless the coach took him out. And same thing with practice. He's going to practice every day as hard as he could practice, and just his focus on learning what to do. He's very mature in his attitude towards his assignments, his job, his responsibility to his teammates. All that has just kind of like been night and day when he went through that stage of wanting to leave and then decided he was going to come back. I mean, that's one of the things I said to him. I said, Ken, have we seen the best Ken Malcolm? Have we really seen the best? Because until you do that, I can't even tell you if you can play at Georgia or not. So when he decided he wanted to come, I mean, I said that before he left. I was saying, I don't think you should leave until you do this and then decide. Should you stay or go? But he's like, no, I want to go. I said, all right, you can go then if you want. And then, of course, I don't know if it was a day later, 2 days later, he changed his. You start living at that decision, and you realize it was not a good thing. He wanted to come back, and I said, well, if you come back, I just want to see the best Ken Malcolm, and academically too. And he has. He matured a lot, and I'm just proud of him. He's one of those guys that you talk about guys that the light switch comes on for a guy, and he shows that he's grown up a little bit. That's what Ken's kind of going through, and it's helped him on the field and off the field.
Austin Long, is he? I know he's like right among your top reserves now.
Yeah.
What's he done kind of?
Well, he started playing better. He just started getting after it a little bit better, and we threw him in there at guard a little bit, and I think that helped him a little bit. A little tighter space was good for him, although I think he still improved as a tackle as well. But and maybe he saw the ship leaving without him, and he's like, man, if I'm going to make it, I better get it done every day in practice. And that's really what so many guys they think it's a conspiracy, or they think the coach doesn't like me, or they think all these things spin around in their head that are so unproductive. And if they would just put their nose to the grindstone and start working and focusing and doing it the way coach says to do it, you do that. And what will happen is sometimes a guy will do it one day, And at the end of the day, he'll want to be moved up to second team or first team or whatever. It's like, no, you got to do it day after day after day. But if you put a few days together or a week together or a spring together, whatever it is, coaches will notice that. You know, they may not see it the first time, or they may see it the first time, and then the next day, you don't do it. So you're inconsistent. You're not mature enough yet to do it on a daily basis. And sometimes the guys just finally say, you know what, I'm just gonna try it the Georgia way and see what happens. And then usually they have success.
Who do you consider your number 2 left tackle right now?
Well, if it was God forbid, it was an injury where Gates couldn't play anymore, we might move Theus over there. I don't know what we'd do. It could be Long, it could be Theus. I don't know what we'd do. It's a good question. I don't want to think about it, but I don't know what we'd do.
Have one more?
How's the tight end race?
Well, Jay, you know, he pulled a muscle, so he hadn't really been able to practice much. I mean, Artie's a solid, very solid number 1 starter right now, and he was number 1 when Jay pulled the muscle. I mean, Jay was competing, and the bottom line was both those guys are going to play. They both of them have to play. We usually play 2 or 3 tight ends, so it wasn't a matter of who's going to start. It was just a matter of Jay getting ready to be the best Jay he could be, and Artie becoming the best Artie he could be. We're trying to get Ty ready, but Ty is just, he's young and he's trying to figure out how to do it the Georgia way, like a lot of young guys. He's tough and he likes football. He's athletic, but it's just a lot to learn. There's so much to learn, and when you're playing with a bunch of guys that really know what they're doing and everybody's playing fast, it's hard to keep pace as a freshman. And so if he's in there, he's going to have some help from the tackle and everything, just kind of guiding him along the way. But hopefully Jay will be back here pretty quick. I think Jay, we're going to try Jay. I don't think he'll go tomorrow, but I think Monday we're going to try to let Jay go, see what happens. All right, gang.
Yeah. Normally could have injured himself.
Can you call me a picture of that?
I hadn't looked yet. Cool.
Not much to it, but that's what I had. Just rapid fire over there, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, I appreciate it.
After we got those photos, I'll really carry that and go over there.
Yeah. Only thing I might do with it, I mean, if do it from the angle of it being like a team unity thing. I mean, building trust, that kind of thing. But otherwise, it's really, yeah, exactly. It's not gonna be a story. Hell no.
That's what he was mad about. He wasn't mad about that. I got it. But I appreciate you coming, man.
We run.
You like something?